for me, everybody ends up in the same place and they're judged the same way. So I just can't force people to be something that they don't want to be. So with that said, like I said, I've been reading the Bauchman books. And the one I'm going to start reading here is The Running Man. So we're going to read a little bit of this today, okay? This is what it says. -100 and counting. She was squinting at the thermometer in the white light coming through the window. Beyond her, in the drizzle, the other high-rises in Co-op City rose like the gray turrets of the penitentiary. Below, in the air shaft, clotheslines flapped with ragged wash. Rats and plump alley cats circulated through the garbage. She looked at her husband. He was seated at the table, staring up at the free V with steady, vacant concentration. He had been watching it for weeks now. It wasn't like him. He hated it, always had. Of course, every development apartment had one. It was the law. But it was still legal to turn them off. The compulsory benefit bill of 2021 had failed to get the required 2/3 majority by 6 votes. Ordinarily, they never watched it. But ever since Kathy had gotten sick, he had been watching the big money giveaways. It filled her with sick fear. So there is... Running Man is about a game show. And a man, it concentrates on a man, I do believe, because that's what it did in the movie. And he ends up eventually being part of it. And they find out the truth because on TV, somebody wins and they go to all these beautiful places. They go to vacations, like, the beach and like, for instance, everybody loves going to the Bahamas. So they'll send them to Bahamas. They'll show how people win, cash prizes and other prizes. And it's just like they show that everything is perfect and everybody has fun. Yes, baby.
What is for dinner?
For now, have a sandwich. I'm not sure what your dad's doing.
Where is he?
He went to the store an hour ago. So I don't know. Just, maybe eat something to hold you over till dinner, okay?
It is like 7:31.
I know. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to make dinner, okay?
Okay.
So give me time to read my couple sections here, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's my youngest son. So this whole thing is about a game show called The Running Man. That's what the game show's called.
I made a sandwich.
Yes, I did. I told you to.
With the sugar overload.
Yes. Yeah, he asks because a lot of things are Dad's favorites, so we always ask, hey, can I have this? And it helps him for, he won't be able to live on his own, but it teaches him, you can't just take things. So, yes, he's 21. No, he does not drink. And no, he does not live on his own. His mind is about 10, 11, and he loves things that are for children. And he loves Legos too. And I just let him go. I used to get frustrated, but now it's like, So, behind the compulsive shrieking of the halftime announcer narrating the latest newsy flick, Kathy's flu-hoarsened wailing went on and on. How bad is it? Richards asked. Not so bad. Don't shit me. It's 104. He brought both fists down on the table. A plastic dish jumped in the air and clattered down. We'll get a doctor. Try not to worry so much. Listen. She began to babble frantically to distract him. He had turned around and was watching the free TV again. Halftime was over and the game was on again. This wasn't one of those big ones, of course. Just a cheap daytime come-on called treadmill $2. They accepted only chronic heart, liver, and lung patients, sometimes training in a crypt for comic relief. Every minute Every minute, the contestant could stay on the treadmill, keeping up a steady flow of chatter with the MC. He won $10. Every 2 minutes, the MC asked a bonus question. In the contestants category, the current pal, a heart murmur from Hackensack, was an American history buff, which was worth $50. The contestant, dizzy, out of breath, heart doing frantic rubber acrobatics. Acrobatics. I seriously cannot figure out why I do it, but yes, I mess up when I'm reading. I take pauses when I'm reading. One sec. I take pauses when I'm reading, so please bear with me. Yes, babe. Yes. So yeah, I'm messed up when I read. So let's try again. Hart doing frantic rubber acrobatics in his chest missed the question. $50 was deducted from his winnings, and the treadmill was sped up. We'll get along, Ben. We will, really. You'll what? He asked at her. He looked at her brutally. Hustle no more, Sheila. She's got to have a real doctor. No more block midwife with dirty hands and whiskey breath. All the modern equipment, I'm going to see to it. He crossed the room, eyes swiveling hypnotically to the free V bolted into one paneling wall above the sink. He took a cheap denim jacket off its hooks and pushed it on with fretful gestures. No, I won't. I won't allow it. You're not going to. Why not? At worst, you can get a few old bucks as the head of a fatherless house. One way or another, you'll have to see her through this. Oh, give me 1 second. I apologize. My daughter called. They've been gone a little over an hour. Put it down. They've been gone a little over an hour, so they went up and they got cat shampoo, and because she wants to bathe the cats again, and a water filter. Our water jug didn't even cost $35, and apparently the filter cost $35. No. Glad they didn't buy it because that's not how much it cost. Anyway, so then they're talking about what they're going to get for lunch or for dinner, and I told them to take my card, and my card is here at home because I took everything out of the car of value last night. After the thievery, yeah. So I apologize for the long pause, but I wasn't sure what she was going to talk about. So, and I'm glad I paused the muted because she talked about a few things she wouldn't want everybody else to hear. So, yeah. But we can get back to what we were doing. Let's see. Why not? At worst, you can get a few old bucks as the head of a fatherless house. One way or the other, you'll have to see her through this. She had never really been a handsome woman, but in the years since her husband had not worked, she had grown scrawny. But in this moment, she looked beautiful, imperious. I won't take it. I'd rather sell the Goovy a $2 piece of tail when he comes to the door and send him back with a dirty, bloody money in his pocket. Should I take a bounty on my man? He turned to her, grim and humorless, clutching something that set him apart, an invisible something for which the network had ruthlessly calculated. He had a dinosaur in this time. Not a big one, but still a throwback, an embarrassment, perhaps a danger. The clouds condensed around small particles. He gestured at the bedroom. How about her in an unmarked Poppy's grave? Does that appeal to you? It left her with only the argument of insensate sorrow. Her face cracked and dissolved into tears. Ben, this is just what they want for people like us, like you. Maybe they won't take me, he said, opening the door. Maybe I don't have whatever it is they look for. Well, if you go now, they'll kill you. And I'll be here watching it. Do you want me watching that with her in the next room? She was hardly coherent through the tears. I want her to go on living, he tried to close the door. But she put her body in the way. Give me a kiss before you go, then. He kissed her. Down the hall, Mrs. Jenner opened her door and peered out. The rich odor of corned beef and cabbage, tantalizing, maddening, drifted to them. Mrs. Jenner did well. She helped out at the local discount drug and had an almost uncanny eye for illegal card carriers. You'll take the money, Richard says. You won't do anything stupid. I'll take it, she whispered. You know I'll take it. He clutched her awkwardly and turned away quickly, with no grace, and plunged down the crazily slanting, ill-lighted stairwell. Now, this is not how the movie starts out, by the way. She stood in the doorway, shaken by her soundless sobs, until she heard the door slam hollowly 5 flights down. And then she put her apron on up to her face. She was still clutching the thermometer she had used to take the baby's temperature. Mrs. Jenner crept up softly and twitched the apron. Dearie, she whispered, I can put you onto black market penicillin. When the money gets here, real cheap, good quality. Get out! She screamed at her. Miss Jenner recoiled, her upper lip raising instinctively away from the blackened stumps of her teeth. Just trying to help, she muttered, scurried back to her room. Barely muffled by the thin plasterwood, Kathy's wails continued. Miss Jenner's freebie blared and hooted. The contestant on treadmill to Bucks had just missed a bonus question and had had a heart attack simultaneously. He was being carried off on a rubber stretcher while the audience applauded. They applauded. Can you imagine what kind of future this is? Upper lip raising and failing metronomically, Mrs. Jenner wrote Sheila Richards' name down in her notebook. "We'll see," she said to her no one. "We'll just see, Mrs. Smells So Sweet." She closed the door. She closed the note in a vicious snap and settled down to watch the next game. Minus 0.99 and counting. The drizzle had deepened into a steady rain by the time Richards hit the street. The big smoked oaks of hallucinogenic Jokes thermometer across the street stood at 51 degrees. Just the right temperature to stoke up a doke, high to the nth degree. That might make it 60 in their apartment, and Kathy had the flu. A rat trotted lousily across the cracked and blistered cement of the street. Across the way, the ancient and rusted skeleton of a 2013 Hummer stood on decayed axles. Did we have Hummers in 2013? Somebody should let me know. It had been completely stripped, even to the wheel bearings and motor mounts. And it's not because I don't know. I just want some interaction to see if anybody answers. But the couple didn't take it away. The cops didn't take it away. The cops rarely ventured south of the canal anymore. Co-op City stood in a radiating rat warren of parking lots, deserted shops, urban centers, and paved playgrounds. The cycle gangs were the law here, and all those newsy items about the intrepid block police of South City were nothing but a pile of warm crap. You took the pneumo bus or you carried a gas cylinder. He walked fast, not looking around, not thinking. The air was sulphurous and thick. 4 cycles roared past, and someone threw a ragged hunk of asphalt paving. Richard ducked easily. 2 pneumo buses passed him, buffeting him with air. But he did not flag them. This week's $20 unemployment allotment, old bucks, had been spent. There was no money to be taken to buy a token. He supposed the moving packs could sense his poverty. Roaring packs could sense his poverty. He was not molested. Well, that's good. High-rises, developments, chain-link fences, parking lots, empty except for stripped derelicts. Obscenities scrawled on the pavement in soft chalk, and now blurring with the rain. Crashed out windows, rats, wet bags of garbage splashed over the sidewalks and into the gutters. Graffiti written jaggedly on crumbling gray walls. "Honky don't let the sun set on you here. Home folks blow dokes. Your mommy itches skin your banana." Okay. Tommy pushing Hitler was cool. Mary, Sid, kill all kikes. Okay. Like I said, this is something else. The old GA sodium lights put up in the 70s busted with rocks and hunks of paving. No Technico was going to replace it down here. They were on the new credit dollar. Technicos stay uptown, baby. Uptown's cool. Everything silent except for the rising, then descending whoosh of the pneumo buses and the echoing clack of Richard's footfalls. The battlefield only lights up at night. In the day, it is a deserted, gray field. Gray silence, which, ooh, stop. The battlefield only lights up at night. In the day, it is a deserted gray silence which contains no movement but the cats and rats and fat white maggots trundling across the garbage. No smell but the decaying reek of this brave year, 2025. That's only 2 years away. The freebie cables were safely buried under the streets, and no one but an idiot or a revolutionary would want to vandalize them. Freebie is the stuff of dreams, the bread of life. Skag is $12 a bag. Yes, can I help you? What? 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 What do you want? 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 What? What do you want? Go get your toy. Go get your rope. Get your rope or your toy and I'll throw it. Well, go get it. I can't throw it if I don't have it. What do you want me to throw? Oh, now you just walk off. Okay, you go eat it. She'll be back. And then she licked my face. It's all wet. Skag is $12 a bag. Frisco Push goes for 20 a tab, but the freebie will freak you for nothing. Hi, would you like me to throw it? Would you like me to throw it? Would you like me to throw it? No, you want to play tug of war. Hold on, let me keep my page. Oh God, my arm's going to die. Let me have it. You have to let go. Come here. You have to let go, release it, and drop it. Drop it. No. Release it. Yes. Good girl. Here you go. Haha, she got it. You can't have it, she says. But the freebie will freak you for nothing. What I do is I find where I was reading, I read the last sentence, and then I continue reading. I don't like to start up in case somebody pauses and walks off and then they know where we're at. And if you want to read along, be my guest. Farther along on the other side of the canal, the dream machine runs 24 hours a day, but it runs on new dollars, and only employed people have any. There are 4 million others, almost all of them unemployed, south of the canal in Co-op City. Richard walked 3 miles, and the occasional liquor stores and smoke shops, at first heavily grilled, became more numerous. Then the X-houses. 24 perversions, count them, 24. The hawkeries, the blood emporiums, greasers sitting on cycles at every corner, the gutters buried in snowdrifts on roach ends, rich blokes, smoke dokes. Good gracious. He could see the skyscrapers rising into the clouds now, high and clean. The highest of all was the Network Games Building, 100 stories, top half buried in cloud and smog cover. He fixed his eyes on it and walked another mile. Now the more expensive movie houses and the smoke shops with the grills, but Rena-Pigs stood outside, electric move-alongs hanging from them Sam Brown belts. A city cop on every corner, the People's Fountain Park, admission $75. Well-dressed mothers watching their children as they frolic on the astroturf behind the chain-link fencing. A cop on either side of the gate, a tiny, pathetic glimpse of a fountain. He crossed the canal. As he got closer to the games building, it grew taller, more and more probable with its impersonal, good Lord, with its impersonal tiers of rising office windows, its polished stonework. Cops watching him, ready to hustle him along or bust him if he tried to commit loitering. Uptown, there was only one function for a man in baggy gray pants and a cheap bowl haircut and sunken eyes. That purpose was the games. The qualifying exemptions began promptly at noon, and when Ben Richards stepped behind the last man in line, he was almost in the umbra of the games building, but the building was still 9 blocks over a mile away. The line stretched before him like an eternal snake. Soon others joined in behind him. The police watched them, hands on either gun butts, and move-alongs. They smiled anonymously, contemptuous smiles. Oh, they smiled anonymous, contemptuous smiles. That one look like a half-wit to you, Frank. Looks like one to me. Guy down there asked me if there was a place where he could go to the bathroom. Can you imagine it? Sons of bitches ain't kill their own mothers for a smelled like he didn't have a bath for. Ain't nothing like a freak show I always. These were the conversations. Heads down against the rain, they shuffled aimlessly, and after a while, the line began to move. Minus 98, 098, and counting. It was after 4 when Ben Richards got to the main desk and was routed to desk 9, Q-R. The woman sitting at the rumbling plastipunch looked tired and cruel and impersonal. She looked at him and saw no one. Name, last, first, middle. Richards. Benjamin Stewart. Her fingers raced over the keys. Click, clitter, 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 went the machine. Height, weight, age, height, weight. 28, 6'2", 165. Clitter, clitter, clitter. Certified IQ by Wechsler test if you want it. And age tested. 126, age of 14. Clitter, clitter, clitter. The huge lobby was an echoing, rebounding tomb of sound. Questions being asked and answered. People were being led out weeping. People were being thrown out. Hoarse voices were raised in protest. A scream or two. Questions? Always questions. Last school attended? Manual trades? Did you graduate? No. How many years? And at what age did you leave? 2 years, 16 years old. Reasons for leaving? I got married. Clitter, clitter, clitter. Name and age of spouse, if any? Sheila, Catherine, Richards, 26. Name and ages of children, if any? Catherine, Sarah, Richards, 8 months. Clitter, clitter, clitter. Last question, mister. Don't bother lying. They'll pick it up during the physical and disqualify you there. Have you ever used heroin or a synthetic antihistamine hallucinogen called San Francisco Push? No. Clitter. Plastic card popped out and she handed it to him. Don't lose this, big fella. If you do, you have to start back to go. You have to start back at go next week. She was looking at him now, seeing his face, the angry eyes, lanky body. Not bad looking, at least some intelligence, good stats. She took his card back abruptly and punched off the upper right-hand corner, giving it an odd, milled appearance. What was that for? Never mind. Somebody will tell you later, maybe. She pointed over his shoulder at the long hall which led toward the bank of elevators. Dozens of men, fresh from the desks, were being stopped, showing their plastic IDs and moving on. And as Richard watched, trembling, sallow-faced, Push Freak was stopped by a cop and showed the door. The freak began to cry, but he went. Tough old world, big fella, the woman behind the desk said without sympathy. Move along. Richards moved along. Behind him, a litany already beginning again. Minus 097 and counting. A hard, calloused hand slapped his hand at the head of the hall behind the desks. Card, buddy? Richard showed it. The cop relaxed, his face subtle and Chinese with disappointment. You like turning them back, don't you? Richards asked. It really gives you a charge, doesn't it? You want to go downtown, maggot? Richards walked past him. The cop made no move. He stopped halfway to the bank of elevators and looked back. Hey, cop! The cop looked at him truculently. Got a family? It could be you next week. Move on, said the cop. The cop shouted furiously. With a smile, Richard moved on. There was a line of perhaps 20 applicants waiting at the elevators. Richard showed one of the cops on duty his card, and the cop looked at him closely. You a hard-ass, Sonny? Are you a hard-ass, Sonny? Hard enough, Richard asked and smiled. The cop gave him the card back. They'll kick it soft again. How smart do you talk with the holes in your head, Sonny? Just about as smart as you talk without that gun on your leg and your pants down around your ankles, Richard said, still smiling. Want to try it? For a moment, he thought the cop was going to swing at him. They'll fix you, the cop said. You'll do some walking on your knees before you're done. I apologize, they just got home. Did you guys stop for cheese?
Yeah.
And bread?
Yeah.
Okay. That was fast.
Go!
No, I'll do them.
Really?
Yeah, she carried that in like she did the rock. Remember the rock you found last week? I told you it was hers? Right as we were coming in, she grabbed the block and brought it in. She's like a little kid. I've got just this one page. Let me finish it. Phoebe, go lay down. You need to stop. There. They'll fix you, the cop said. You'll do some walking on your knees before you're done. The cop swaggered over their 3 arrivals and demanded to see their cards. The man ahead of Richards turned around. He had a nervous, unhappy face and curly hair that came down in a widow's peak. Say, you don't want to antagonize them, fella. You've got a grapevine. They've got a grapevine. Is that so? Richard asked. Looking at him mildly, the man turned away. Abruptly, the elevator doors snapped open. A black cop with a huge gut stood protecting the bank of push buttons. Another cop sat in a small stool reading a 3D pervert mag in a small, bulletproof cubicle the size of a telephone booth at the rear of the large car. A sawed-off shotgun rested between his knees. Shells were lined up beside him within easy reach. Step to the rear, the fat cop cried with bored importance. Step to the rear, step to the rear. They crowded in to the depth where a deep breath was impossible. Sad flesh walled Richards on every side. They went up to the second floor. The door snapped open. Richard, who stood a head taller than anyone else in the car, saw a huge waiting room and many chairs dominated by a huge freebie. A cigarette dispenser stood in one corner. Step out, show ID cards to your left. They stepped out, holding their ID cards to the personal lens of a camera. 3 cops stood close by. For some reason, a buzzer went off at the sight of some dozen cards, and the holders were jerked out of line and hustled away. Richard showed his card and was waved on. He went to the cigarette machine, got a pack of Blams, and sat down as far from the freebie as possible. He lit up a cigarette and exhaled, coughing. He hadn't had a cigarette in almost 6 months. So what we're going to do, we've read 100, 99, 98, 97. We're going to stop there with 4 sections. I will try to be back on later tonight, and if not, I will be on tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to go make dinner now, but it has been a good couple hour and a half or so with you. And, yeah, it's going to get chaotic, and I want to make dinner, so y'all have a good night. And like I said, I will try to be back on tonight. And if so, I hope to see you. Y'all, God bless. Bye.